Hey guys, this is Justin back with an engineer's perspective, and today I'll be doing a review of this. This is the Victorinox one-handed trekker. I'll be looking at it both in a work industrial environment tool and also like an outdoors tool, which is more what it's geared towards. Really quick tool selection: one-handed locking blade. You've got a plain edge area and then a scalloped serrated, but they've got the other kind of the scalloped variety of serrations. Other big tool is a non-locking saw. It is about, 3.5 inches in length. You've got a very thick, beefy, and locking liner lock there. Flathead, pry bar, bottle opener, wire stripper combo. And it does have a 90-degree stop there. Then you've got the standard small flathead can opener Phillips driver there. And then on the back side, you've got their T-handle Phillips driver, the standard one. And you've got the, where is it? There it is. The standard awl. And then you've got tweezers, toothpick, lanyard ring spot. I think it normally comes with a split ring. I took mine off. So those are the tools. Let's talk about it first in an industrial environment, in which case I'll juxtapose it against the Wave here because of the one-handed blade. So if you're looking for a tool that has a blade, right? Because some people don't just want to carry a pocket knife. They want, the tools included in there. If you're looking for something that is, one-handed opening, comfortable shape of a knife and is locking, then that's what might draw you to the one-handed trekker. And not having a pocket clip is really annoying for something like this, but you can carry it in a belt sheath really easily. You can attach a lanyard on this. I don't really like that, or one of those belt hangers or pocket clip hangers, but I don't like that for this tool, and I'll get into that. But in terms of something that feels like a knife, that works like a knife, it does a really good job. It has this combo blade here, and it's kind of opposite of what's normal. And just right off the bat, credit where credit's due, is these are fantastic serrations. They have been used and they're still blazing sharp. So that's what good serrations should be able to do. So they will cut through paper just fine. They're great on rope and cardboard, and you do have this plain edge area also. So it's not the end of the world. I still prefer to have one blade if it was probably just all straight edge. So I might take it to like a work sharp blade grinding attachment and grind in a normal bevel on it, but I haven't decided yet because it does work. So one thing to note is the liner lock here is opposite. So normally for righties, you'd push this way to disengage, but it's actually opposite. So it's almost like left-handed, and it is accessible right or lefty. So that's a little odd, but so it's a good blade. The lockup, it has lock rock, none side to side. It's hold it up here, it's fine. So it's good at being a knife, it is. The saw, it's a very good Victorinox saw in an industrial environment. If you care, I'll just compare the lengths there. So you get quite a bit much more saw length. You can see how on the Leatherman, they're a pull cut, whereas on the Victorinox, they're more straight up and down in a forward and back cut. I don't really care. I do my cuts on pulls, never on pushes. I don't like push cuts, so as long as it's not a push, then it's okay for me. So those are kind of the main things. These are just, what they are. Not a lot to talk about there. One thing I do want to talk about is the T-handle driver. So It's nice that this is so thin so you can get like down into things if you need to, but I'm just gonna say right now, I think the T-handle sucks. I really hate it, like a lot. And when you have like a lanyard on here and you're trying to turn it like this, it's just flopping everywhere. It's so annoying. Not to mention if you've got that lanyard on, then when you're trying to use this guy, it's doing the same thing. It's like right there, super annoying. So that's why I don't like the lanyard. And yeah, there's just so many times this is just so awkward. Like there's a reason why screwdrivers are this shape and most aren't the T-handle shape. You can buy T-handle ones and there are advantages to it, but this is the better, faster working alternative is an inline like there is on the Leatherman. Not to mention there's the bit exchanger option here. Obviously this is a much more expensive tool than this is, but so in an industrial environment, the screw driving isn't very good on this, and the saw is non-locking if you care. The pry tool is good, but this gets in the way if you're using it. It's just not very good in an industrial environment. And that's kind of what I bought it for, to try to have more of a knife-shaped tool, and it just kind of failed for me in every way. So it doesn't really work. Let's just look at the weight. If you wanted to save weight, the Trekker weighs 4.6 ounces versus the Wave's 8.5, so you save almost half the weight by going with this. So if you care there. But this is a no-go for me in industrial environment. The Wave beats it in every possible way. Not to mention you can put a pocket clip on this if you want, so you don't even have to belt carry this, where this you have to wear it down in your pocket. So yeah, it doesn't really float my boat there. Now let's look at it, what it's more intended as, and that's an outdoor tool. And there it's much better, especially if you're looking for a multi-tool that feels like a knife. But once again, for my usage, it just doesn't really make sense. So for one, I want to compare it to what I'd recommend if you're looking for like a multi-tool for outdoors, is I recommend the Rebar here. So it weighs 6.6 ounces. So it's only 2 ounces heavier than the Trekker, but you get amazing pliers, a fully straight edge blade, a full serrated one, and then also you get this file along with this locking saw. So if you're like using the saw to notch out traps or whatever, or if you're like cutting them in with your SE or your Mora, then this file is really nifty for cleaning them up. It's got an edge file too, so you can really clean up notches and get some work done with this file. So in my opinion, if you're doing a lot of that kind of work like trap making and such, that the Rebar is a much better tool than the Trekker with its locking saw and its file compared to that saw. Although it is very good and very long, the Rebar is just the way to go. So you can see it's basically a full inch shorter, but the better option. You don't have the one-handed accessible blade anymore on this, but like for me, like if I'm going out to like bushcraft, then I already have a knife on my belt, so I don't really care if I have this one-handed accessible knife that I have to dig in my pocket or whatever to get to anyways. So that isn't a positive over this. It's got better drivers in here. The Rebar has an awl, if that's important to you, which it is for me. It just wins. So, and the blade isn't uncomfortable whatsoever to use. You know, the Rebar has these very rounded outside handles, so actually very comfortable to use in this manner. So keep that in mind. So in an outdoor tool, it doesn't really have a place for me. The Rebar makes more sense if I'm looking for an outdoor multi-tool. I do want to prove to you, though, that if this is what you're looking for, that the serrations aren't the worst thing in the world. So this is just a 2x4, and I'm just gonna, I'll use the flat section first. try to do some feathers. Oh gosh, hard behind a camera here. Oh dear, this is not going well. So that's the flat section. Not very great, but it works. But here's the serrated, is you can actually feather stick with the serrated section. So once again, credit where credit's due. These are dang good serrations. This is an awful feather stick, but I'm blaming the camera for that. So they will feather stick. They will cut into wood, you know, like digging into there. So it can be used for woodcraft. It's not ideal. You know, compare that to like a Mora. Let's see if I can redeem myself a little bit. Oh yeah. You know, it's got nothing on a Scandi grind, of course. But it does work. So who is this for? I'm not sure. I'm sorry, but I'm just not. You know, if you're looking for an outdoor multi-tool that's inexpensive, I believe these run like 40, 50 bucks. Honestly, I think I'd push you towards a Wingman if you want the scissors, or the Sidekick if you want the saw, or if you just spend a little bit more money. I think the Rebar goes for like 70 now. Just get a Rebar. I think you got a better outdoor tool, and an industrial tool, the Rebar and the Wave both beat it. Excuse me. But if you want one-handed accessible knife that feels like a knife, that locks, then sure. Then that might be the ticket. But I think there's better options out there. So yeah, I have it. I do like to bring it fishing, so maybe that might be a good use for you. But that's all. That's my review of the Victorinox one-handed trekker. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye.